fate of British cycling changed one day in 2003. Dave Brailsford became the performance director. When hired, Great Britain had suffered nearly 100 years of mediocrity. Since 1908, British riders have won just a single gold medal at the Olympic Games. And in 110 years, no British rider had ever won the Tour de France. It got to the point where the performance of British riders had been so underwhelming that many of the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to sell bikes to the team, in fear that if they used the bikes, it would tarnish their brand. Brailsford came in with a plan. He referred to it as the aggregation of marginal gains, a philosophy of searching for tiny margin of improvement in every single thing that you do. He said to his team, the whole principle is an idea that if you break down everything that you think of that goes into riding a bike and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put all the improvements together. The moment Brailsford got there, tiny improvements began. Bike seats were redesigned to be more comfortable. Riders wore electronically heated shorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding. New riding suits were developed and produced out of lighter fabric. But the improvements didn't stop there. Brailsford continued to find 1% improvements in overlooked and unexpected areas. They had surgeons come in and teach each rider individually the best way to wash their hands. They even determined the best type of pillow and mattress that resulted in the best night's rest for each individual rider. The coach even painted the inside of the team truck white to help spot the tiniest particle of dust that could affect the performance of a bike. 5 years since Brailsford took over came the test. The 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Miraculously, the British cycling team took over 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later, the Olympic Games came to London.
What a moment for
the team set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records in the Olympic Games. In that same year, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. The British would go on to win the Tour de France 6 out of the next 10 years. How does this happen? How does a mediocre team transform into world champions through these tiny changes that seem on the surface absolutely meaningless? Why do small improvements accumulate into such remarkable results? It is far too easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment, like many did when they saw the British win gold, and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. We put too much pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about without realizing that we are setting ourselves up for failure. Meanwhile, on the other hand, improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Maybe not even noticeable. People won't see it and maybe some won't even talk about it. But it will be far more meaningful in the long run. Imagine yourself on this timeline, and each and every day you get better for 1 year by just 1%. You'll end up 37 times better by the time you are done. If you have a vision, sit down and ask yourself, where are the 1% improvements